Today I'm going to go through my full portfolio and hopefully showing you how I'm going to make an FU ton of money in this bull run. And I'm going to even do my best to show you how I'm playing each individual coin in my spot bags on how I'm going to actually exit the bull run. And I'm not just going to show you little percentages. Heck, I've looked at these videos before I wanted to record my own version. I see so many YouTubers, and there's nothing wrong with this, by the way, but I've just seen so many YouTubers just show you the percentage and not actually show you how invested they are. Now, number one, I think that's because most people are lying in the YouTube space in crypto because they're not actually as all in as they say they are, which is fine. But if you know me, and you've known me since 2020, if you started watching the channel back then, I've always showed the dollar value. People always say, oh, it's risky, somebody might come and kill you. But I was like, yeah, it is what it is. If I want to be transparent, I show you the dollar value, I show you the losses, I show you the wins. And that was just because, like, if I was starting out in cryptocurrency, that's exactly what I would want myself. So always show you dollar value. I'm going to show you everything, or pretty much everything in my spot positions. I've got some trades on the side, but that's a little bit different. So without further ado, I'm going to show you my complete crypto portfolio plan, and hopefully this will be better than the one I made before in 2020 and 2021, because I made a bunch of money, but unfortunately lost it. Now, real quick before I do that, if you want to buy any of the coins that we're going to talk about today, you can still use BTCC. They're still giving new deposits 10% back. So e.g., if you deposit $5,000, you get back $500, $500, you get back 50. It's free to do if you're brand new. And I've really liked using BTC for spot positions because they're trusted by millions of people for over 14 years now, and they've got over 300 cryptocurrencies. If you are from UK, like me, unfortunately, you do have to use a VPN. I would recommend Nord. They're one of the best, and it's pretty much $2 a month. If you want to do that, check the link in the description, and let's get on with the video. And before we do this, I want to show you my current portfolio. It's $922,000, and today is a good day in the market. I think Bitcoin's almost touching 100K. By the time we post that, God knows where we'll be at. But so far, I'm up $41,000, and I've kind of got used to this. I see up 100K days when the market's doing really well, and I've seen down six-figure days when the market's doing crap. Once you start to build a good portfolio, or heavy portfolio, you start to get used to, if you hit $1 million in a 10% day, literally can be 100K across the board. That's just reality. It's good. It's also bad if it's really bad. But so far, I share you this because, again, nobody shares this with anybody in the cryptocurrency space. I'm up $580,000, and I'm going to break down this full portfolio. Full transparency. I have some pool positions, like I said at the start of this video. I also have some trades. I will show some of the pool positions in this, but there's just way too many numbers to go over. So primarily this is just my spot position, e.g. when I was buying in 22, 23, and even 24. And I've bought a little bit this year, I'm not going to lie, at the recent dip that we had. This is just basically calculating this portfolio. My goal for this portfolio has always been $3 to $5 million, but I have to give you a fair warning. My goal in the last bull run, if you were riding this channel with me, we rid it all the way down. My goal was $1 million. I got to 950K, and that was the peak before it literally plummeted. So I say this because if you plan to make a lot of money this bull run, my best piece of advice, if you're going for something like 3 to 5 million for me, I'll be taking profits a little bit before that, either in 20% chunks, because 35 million is great. If I could click my fingers, I would love to have that, but I'll be happy with 1.5 to 2.5, as long as I've got a little bit of coins left in the market to potentially ride them up. But if we go in a bear market, once I hit those numbers, at least we'll leave with something this 4 years, unlike 4 years of waiting and literally losing money. So I think that's super important to know there. And I would really urge you guys to do that at home, to take profits. It's one of the big pieces of advice. We can buy the same coins, but get a completely different outcome if you don't take profits. Now, I'm going to break down this. I've got a full mind map here, so stick around, buckle up, and I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below, what you think of my coins. And I'm going to give you some price predictions and all that kind of fun stuff. But my first biggest coin is Bitcoin. I hold roughly $450,000 of Bitcoin, or I think that's about 4.55 BTC. And yeah, I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to lie, I did not expect Bitcoin to be at 50% of my portfolio, and it kind of annoys me a little bit. But again, I was buying in the big crash in 2022 and really early 23 when Celsius was going down, FTX was going down. And most of my Bitcoin was accumulated at $16,000 to $19,000. And the reason I started to buy Bitcoin heavily, because number one, you know, if Bitcoin fails, the whole alt market's over. And number two, I just thought at 16 to 19K levels, like, how far can this really go down? And to be honest, that was pretty much the best time to buy. But I was so pissed off from losing everything in Celsius and round tripping my first bull run, because I had about 4.5 Bitcoin in the last bull run. I've now got 4.55, so I feel a little bit better. My main goal was just to get that amount back because it just annoyed me, like how I pretty much lost all my Bitcoin in Celsius. Now, again, BTC is the daddy. A lot of small investors, I would probably ignore Bitcoin, and that really pains me to say that, but Bitcoin is at 95, $100K dollars, whatever it is at the time of recording. And if your goals are higher than a 2x, I'm going to have to say probably ignore it, but there's nothing wrong with just Bitcoin. I mean, if you look at Bitcoin right now, it's on a tear. It is at $99,802, and in the last year, it's up 59%. But I think, as we know, most of the gains are going to come in Q3 and Q4. So I think Bitcoin can still make you a decent amount of money, but unfortunately, if you've got $500, even $5,000, and your goals are to do well in this bull run, define what well means, because Bitcoin will probably not get you there. What you can do is you can ride up altcoins that we're going to talk about with my other part of the portfolio, make a lot of money, and then come back and buy Bitcoin like I was doing in the bear market of 26, 27, potentially 2028, depending on how long this cycle does last. So Bitcoin's a great portfolio, but I get it's not really relatable to a lot of people watching this channel because a lot of people don't have the amount of money to go and spend over 400 grand now to buy 4.5 Bitcoin, right? So again, my average cost basis on Bitcoin was $23,000 because I started to buy a little bit higher, and that's fine. And my overall profit is $341,000. I'm super fucking happy with that. But again, if I had $500, it would be pretty much like $1,500, maybe $2,000, right? So I would not be happy with that. But again, it just depends on your goals, and that's something you need to, define with yourself going forward. And my main goal for this bull run is to at least get the first 4 coins I'm going to talk about on this list at $2 million. And then the rest of my portfolio, the more speculative plays, to really do the next 2 million. Again, I understand that these numbers are not going to be foolproof. It's just a little bit of fun, but I'm taking this bull run very fucking seriously. So the goal for me in Bitcoin is if we get 150K peak, that would give me about $680,000 at 4.5 Bitcoin. But again, I'll be taking profits along the way, and we might go higher than 150, and I'll keep a little bit left over. But if I have to round trip some of the Bitcoin, 1 Bitcoin is always worth 1 Bitcoin, so it's absolutely fine. But this is my main goal with Bitcoin, and I think it can be done, but we'll see going forward. Now, my second biggest bag is Hedera Hashgraph. Now, this wasn't primarily my second biggest bag for a long time, but as you guys knows, I've been descending for HBAR for literally, I guess you could say 5 years now, which is crazy to say. And I've had a long journey with HBAR, good, bad, and very ugly. And it's been 5 years pretty much, and it's been depressing. It's been good, and now it's been pretty much great, and I'm up on my entries. But again, for me, HBAR was quite far down my portfolio if I was to make this video like a year ago, but it's only because HBAR went on an absolute tear, and because I was accumulating for 2+ years now on this coin. Obviously, we know about the team, we know about the scalability, we don't want to get into that boring stuff right now, but for me, my average is 0.0685 cents. I have not bought any HBAR in a while, and I don't plan to, because my goal was always to get 1 million HBAR coins to reach kind of $1 million if HBAR hits $1, but as we know, I'll be scaling out a lot before that. And my goal here is 500K to $1 million, and it depends on how greedy I get. But in my opinion, I do think HBAR is a $1 coin this bull run. It pretty much got halfway in the last bull run, and of course, there's a lot less coins in circulation right now because a lot of 22 and 23 with HBAR was to do with a lot of people dumping, and that's fine. And again, I'm up 117K on HBAR. It was a lot higher when HBAR pumped to like 38 cents recently, but it is what it is. I'm still hodling, I still believe in this 2025 bull run, and I do think this coin does super, super well. Now, my next coin was a coin number 2 for a while, but Ethereum has been lagging. Okay, so Ethereum's about 12.57% of my portfolio, and I've got about 114K. And I'm going to be honest, this coin, if you've been around Ethereum for this bull run, is not been in a bull run. It's been fucking annoying. It should be way higher in percent-wise in my portfolio, but HBAR has just completely destroyed that, and of course Bitcoin has as well. But I do think, as we know, that Ethereum does kind of control the altcoin season. So when this coin starts to go, that's when we're truly going to see an alt season, especially with coins like Solana as well, because this will bring confidence in the market. And basically, people will start to just gamble in other coins outside of Ethereum. Now, the good news is I've got Ethereum on a Brett pool, and this is accumulating me a lot of money. I've made a lot of free Brett and a lot of Ethereum with this. So again, we do this with a lot of our coins when we can. And my goal here was, well, like Ethereum, I had Brett. I found a pool on Uniswap, and yeah, it's accumulating me about $100 per day to sometimes $300 per day. It just depends on how the fees are there. But again, I already had these coins anyway, so I wanted to put a little bit of my bag in this one, and we'll talk about this going forward because obviously Brett is on my positions as well. My portfolio on this, on the average buy, is $974. Now, this doesn't include every single day the free Ethereum that I am accumulating because it's just so hard to like update that. So my average cost base is probably a lot lower because I'm accumulating Ethereum as I'm making this video right now, and same on Brett and same on Solana pools as well. But I'm up about $83,000. And again, my goal in Ethereum, I do believe it's an $8,000 coin. It got to, I think, $4,900 in the last bull run. Again, it's had a lackluster bull run so far. Doesn't even look like it's in a bull run, but once we start climbing the 2.5, 3K levels like we will do, again, I do think this money will start to come. So I think it hits $8,000. Some people are saying $8,000 to $12,000. Once you start getting to the 5-figure, $10,000 Ethereum, it gets a little bit risky. But if I've got 60, which I do, I've got a little bit more as well because I'm not including my pool here as well, at 8K, that's $500,000. And I'll fucking take that. I promise you that right now. Again, I had about 40 in the last bull run. I got to about 100, and that was doing super, super well for me. But obviously, you know, Ethereum rugged in Celsius, which was not nice. So I've done my best to accumulate as much Ethereum I had in the peak of the last bull run, but my primarily goal was Bitcoin and HBAR. Solana. Solana's about 5% of my portfolio. I've got about $40,000 in Solana. And again, similar to the big catalyst that we just talked about with Ethereum, with altcoin season, Solana really controls meme season, right? Let's just be honest. That's when we've seen Dog with Hat, even Pepe, and all these other coins start to go. It's based on Solana. Now, Solana is interesting because it broke its previous all-time high, give or take in November, December kind of time. And I do think Solana has a great bull run. For me personally, again, I'm playing Solana in a DeFi pool here. I've got a couple more ones, but this is the one I share on the channel. In about a month, it's accumulated me about $2,400 plus there's $83 here that I've not claimed yet. So it's doing super, super well. And again, my whole goal was had some USDC, had some Solana, wanted to put a little bit to work, and it's paying so well. And that's very, very good. For me, my average cost in Solana is $103. It's actually a lot lower than that. But again, I bought a little bit more, and this really brought up this $103. I'm up about $20,000. And for me, not including the pools I have, I've got about 269 Solana. It's hard to price this because in 2021, it obviously got to $250 and it had the great run. But then obviously when it crashed, it got to $8 in the peak bear, which is obviously the best time to buy. I do think it hits $700, to be honest, and that would be about $180,000 for me personally. So this is really where I'm getting the kind of 2 million here. Again, it's not going to be exact, but if we just take, you know, 680 here, if we just take $1 million here, depending on when I decide to sell, but I do think HBAR does hit $1, but I'll be selling on the way up and on the way down. 500K here, that gives you almost, in fact it does, it just depends on where you want to take HBAR, gives you about $2 million. So that's my goal there. And now let's get into the more riskier stuff and the stuff that could do super well or super, super bad. Now, speaking of super bad, Quant. I've got $32,000 in Quant, and in my opinion, Quant has been the biggest letdown in this bull run. In 2021, there was a bunch of reasons why I decided to get into this because, number one, it has less supply than Bitcoin. It's actually only got 14.88 million coins, so it's actually less than Bitcoin. And again, it had a great bull run in 21, but this bull run, it was really... I mean, just look at it. It's not doing that well, but, you know, last month it's starting to go. So this is where I'm kind of having... difficult thoughts about it. I also bought it because limited supply that we just talked about, but number two, it's actually a business. So it almost felt like investing in a stock. Like it felt like I was owning something because Quant actually create revenue, unlike 99.99% of cryptos out there. But that's fine. Crypto doesn't have to. And again, it just sucks. Okay, so it got all the good things, but it just doesn't have marketing. Nobody's really interested. But, you know, checking the chart right now, it looks like it's starting to come back. Again, I'm barely in profit in this one. It's been down. It's been up a way a lot longer, but it's about $2,000 in profit. And for me, that is not acceptable. With investment here of $32,000 to only be up $2,000 and being this coin for so long, this is actually, I'm counting this as a loss for me because I look at opportunity cost. If I bought HBAR, if I even bought Bitcoin, probably even Ethereum, depend when I timed it, like I'll be up way, way more than this, like 6 figures in some of this with 30K, especially in HBAR. But to only be up 2K in like 3 years since I was buying this, yeah, opportunity cost for this one sucks, but I hold it because I'm stubborn. I'm not selling it. I could sell it at a profit right now, but I'm stubborn and I do want Quant to keep pushing forward. And if it goes to shit, it goes to shit. The next one is Gala. Gala for me did super, super well in the last bull run. I made the clean 10x of it. I made the biggest mistake of my life. And again, I assure you this because nobody else does. And I round tripped it. So I round tripped it big time hard after getting a 10x in pretty much a week. Gala Games has problems. Okay, number one, the gaming industry isn't moving yet in cryptocurrency, but I do believe that's going to happen. Usually it's towards Q3. If you look at the last bull run, especially if you look back here, it was in October, November, December time. by the time like Gala Games and Sandbox and Decentralized Mana and Axie Infinity really start to go. So gaming usually comes in the later half. It usually starts to wake up. But number two, the biggest problem that's nothing to do with the gaming is the founders, the CEOs, the team are just suing each other, which is fucking retarded. Number three is they were going after gaming, which is great. Okay, build good games, stick to what you know, Gala Games, if you're watching this. Then they went after music, and then they went after film. So they started to do all this kind of stuff, and I get why they did that. You want to capture more eyeballs, but you know, a generalist is really a person that doesn't really know what they're doing. You know, if you think about starting a business, you really just want to focus on one thing. You don't want to try and do all these little things. You're not a Walmart. Gala Games, you're supposed to be on it, right? The best projects in the world, and especially the ones that make the most money, they just do one thing and they just solve that problem. Once you start to go to the film industry and the music industry along with gaming industry, you just kind of be lackluster, right? Because you can't focus. So I would really like these guys just to develop more games, stop suing each other, and let's just have a bull run with Gala Games like we deserve that we did in 2021. So it's an interesting one. And yeah, I've got about $17,000 in that. It's about 2% of my portfolio. And this is in a loss. In a loss so far of $3,600. Not really fussed about it because, as we know, Gala Games and gaming coins can really move towards the end of the bull run, but they really need to get their act together or it might be game over. The next one is Render. Hold about 1.83% of this in my portfolio, $16,000. It's my favorite AI pick, I'm not going to lie. I kind of need some more. So right now, if you're looking at, I mean, you shouldn't be buying coins off me, but for me personally, this is a coin I really want to buy more of. And I did buy some recently at $2.70 down here on the big crash, but it just pumped up so fast, which was good because I took some profits on that. But $4.57, I think it's still a great buying opportunity because just look at the previous highs of $12, and that wasn't obviously the 2021 run. AI, Nvidia stock, you've got BitTensor, Tau, you can really choose your poison. You know, you could even, probably, Nvidia's probably too far gone, and you guys probably aren't interested in stocks, but I do think that money will come to cryptocurrency, which will really wake this up. And we're already seeing that. Again, if you just look in the last 1 month, it's really starting to go. The last 7 days, it's kind of chilling, but, you know, ever since this kind of big drop-off point, it's really starting to wake back up again. It just depends, obviously, what Bitcoin can do. So for me, my Render position is barely in the profit, $3,700, but yeah, I just don't have enough in my opinion, and we'll look at that going forward. The next one is XRP. I was about 1.24%, and I've never really touched this. I bought this a while ago, and it was, yeah, it's just sat there for a while. Obviously, XRP went from 50 cents. It's at $2.21 right now. So this was an interesting coin, and I've got to say, congratulations for the XRP holders that stuck with this because it has been a difficult ride. Okay, you effing deserve the gains you've had when you've been sued by the SEC. Gary Gensler was going after you, and then once that all blew over, you were rewarded. The 50-cent stablecoin that it was for so long literally pumped to a give or take over $3. Now it's chilling at $2.22. So for the guys that held through the storm, congratulations. I've got to give you the hats off to that. So for me personally, this is in the green. It's about 100% up, almost $6,000. And yeah, I would like to buy some more, but I'm not going to buy a 6x when it pretty much did that overnight. The next one is Brett. So Brett's an interesting one. I actually have a lot more Brett than this, but I'm not going to count my Uniswap pools on this one, but I do have a lot more. And the reason why I bought a meme coin, okay, so I was looking at a meme coin to buy, and I've had some few meme coins before in the past, but I was looking at a big position to buy. Didn't want to buy Flocky, didn't want to buy Shiba, didn't want to buy Pepe, didn't want to buy Dogecoin. Not that they're not good coins, and they probably will still do well. I was just looking for something that was on a new chain, which was Base at the time when this Base ecosystem came out. And number two, had a lower market cap when it was worth the risk/reward. Because in my opinion, if you look at coins like Dogecoin, Pepe, etc., their market caps are too high for a meme coin where it's already super, super risky. I believe you can get better gains in like AI projects like Render and even Sui, to be honest. But for the risk/reward, I wanted something that was super, super cheap. But was also the caveat, like I showed you before, I've got this compared against Ethereum, and I've made a fuck ton of Brett on this pool, and it's been very, very good. So, for example, I'll just show you how this works. And this is not to boast or anything because you're going to see some big losses so far, which I'll show you. But again, I bought this coin about $500 million market cap, give or take. It's almost been a year since I bought this coin. I bought it pretty much 2024 in June. And as the price goes up, as the price goes down, as the price goes up, pretty much the whole point of these pools were, or the whole goal for my pool with Brett and Ethereum, was all the guys that had to stomach all this and maybe didn't take profits, they're up a little bit if you bought a $500 million market cap. It's at 625 right now. But me and many other people, when we decided to do this pool, every single day for a year straight, we were just accumulating free Brett and free Ethereum. And once this thing officially does go, okay, because it's still up right now since I bought it, it's like all the fees that we were buying for free every single day. And this is the power with DeFi. Once you know how to do this coin and this pool will make me a fuck ton of money. It's already made me $40,000 in 1 year from pretty much doing nothing bar from having the assets. But all the guys that were in this for a year straight, if you bought it in my time, you're maybe up $5,000 in my position, but the pool portfolio really can change the game if you know what you're doing. So long story short, still having a pool, still riding out, and it's been going good so far. The next one is Sui. Now, to be honest, I don't have enough Sui. That's one of the most annoying things about my Sui position. To be honest, Sui has been great, but in my opinion, this is more of a hedge against Solana, right? Not that it's going to beat Solana in terms of market cap. That's not what I mean. In terms of it can do the same thing. If not, I would argue the chain's way better, and they also have a PSP kind of looking console coming out, so they're almost going after gaming as well. But this is just a hedge against, Solana. Like them both, have them both. I would like to get some more Sui, but it's just started to run the game, which has really annoyed me. And it's always something we say, right? It's, should we run in? Should we buy it? Should we buy it? And then it starts to go and you're like, I should have bought it. Now my Sui position is up $6,000 or 5.6K at the time of recording. And yeah, I just don't have enough, but it's better than none. That's the way I look at it. So yeah, you can't win them all. Now Medicaid has been a very annoying one so far, although I'm still in the green in this one. Basically, what these guys do, it's super risky, by the way. You should never buy these coins, especially at lower market caps. Buy your Render, buy your HBAR, buy your Suis, buy your Solanas, but once we start getting down here, I don't want you guys to buy it without doing your own research and just knowing the risks. Now, this is where we get less than 1% of my coins, but in terms of market cap and how much money you need for these smaller market caps, that's where the risk/reward makes sense. So build your base first and then start going after the speculative stuff, because if the speculative stuff pays well, it can really do a lot of damage with a low amount of money. If the speculative stuff doesn't do well, at least you took a shot, but you've got the main portfolio to still make you money, if that makes sense. So these guys are obviously going under the base chain, which is what I like. They're going under gaming and AI. So again, they've got a lot of good stuff going on. I'm not up massively. I'm up about $1,000, but again, this is yet to run in my opinion. It's been up a lot more. I wish I took profits up here, but I didn't. But it's always been for me, the coins I'm showing you today, a 2025 end of the year bull run and do nothing unless something goes up 100x, then take profits. Now, Veracity is another one that I hold, and Veracity right now, at the time of recording, is on an absolute tear. And it deserves this because it's done nothing since really 22, 23, 24. Now it's starting to go up. I bought it because it's kind of unsexy, but for the guys that understand this stuff and have maybe run ads before, so maybe new guys watching this channel and don't really know who I am, I used to run a lot of dropshipping e-commerce stores and Google Ads, and what these guys basically do is they stop click fraud. So if you run ads and a competitor clicks on you, it costs you money running ads. Super sexy to the geeks that understand this stuff, super unsexy to the guys that just want to make money. I get it, but I understood that these were the only guys doing this in the market. I used to use this, and if I was still running ads, this is something I would do, and there's not really any other competitors. And again, what I've decided to do, and what I've been doing for a while, is I did this in a pool against Ethereum again. You can see I like to compare a lot of coins against Ethereum because Ethereum's kind of like, in my opinion, it's going to do well, but it's not going to do that well, but it's kind of stable, especially it's been at this kind of price point for a while. And again, it's done super, super well for me. It's not paying the best, but I would rather put this to work and earn free VRA. And I started this at pretty much 0.001, and now it's at 0.003, I guess you could say. And all the fees that I was earning at 0.001 to 0.001.5 to 2, etc., are now starting to go crazy because now we're at 3 cents. So with these pools, you buy and you set them low, and then as the price starts to go up, well, you still bought here for free because you were accumulating for free. Hopefully that makes sense. And if it doesn't, maybe just type in DeFi, or just try and learn it for yourself if you do want to do that. It is a strategy and it can be done, and it's been doing well so far for me and some of our guys in our group. The next one is Reploy. This one was one of my biggest profits to date, and actually something I did take profits on this, and I knew this would come in handy. So one of my biggest trades, it made me about $60,000 on launch, and I still hold a little bit of it, but basically how I found this, I've seen a bunch of Twitter accounts and other YouTubers talking about this and how it's going to launch. Now, 90% of the time, don't get FOMO on this, by the way, guys, 90% of the time, this does not go well. Launches are hard, but you take a little bit of risk. And I screenshotted this because I made a video on this, and again, it's not to show that I'm the greatest guy in the world, but 4 months ago, you can see the absolute tear when I was talking about this and when I was buying this, and it just went absolutely crazy. Now, right now, it's like way in the shitter, right? That's usually what happens with pre-sales. So I still have a little bit, but again, most of my profits were taken out here, and it was one of the best plays I've really done, and it was very exciting, but I understood it could have went wrong, and there's been so many like this that I've done personally where I've like 500 or 1,000 bucks, but like, you're not going to win them all. All you need is 1,000 bucks to turn into 60, and you can take 60 more ones for free and still be at break even if they all go terribly well. So this was a nice one that I caught. And what was even better about it was basically I made a video on it. So again, it looks like I'm the smartest guy in the world, but I guess you could say I got a little bit lucky, but I did do the research. I was looking at Twitter accounts, who's speaking about this, how many influencers are here, and I was banking on a lot of these Jeffreys watching these accounts for me to write up, basically. So again, I don't know if it's going to do well this bull run. It is what it is, but I do believe a lot of people sold. I was one of them, and it was a good trade. And I think I bought some more Bitcoin or wasn't HBAR. I can't remember what coins I bought with this, but I just rinse and repeat, right? So again, you can do them. They're great, but don't bet the farm in this. A lot of people do this kind of plays, and then they just put everything into this. It doesn't go well, and they have nothing to show for it. So again, super risky, but so far it worked for me. But again, I've had many losses in these ones, but again, you put in what you want to lose, if that makes sense. Now, TARS AI, it's kind of disappointing right now. It's been a roller coaster of a ride. I made a lot of money on TARS AI, but it wasn't real money. I didn't realize the profits, unlike Reply there, for example. So it's been up, it's been down, etc., etc. And it really massively dumped when Solana started to dump, because it's kind of a hedge against Solana, if that makes sense. It's a leverage bet. So when Solana starts to do well, TARS starts to do well, and that's because they're partnered with them. They're kind of working with them behind the scenes, and they're also under AI, etc. So again, my TARS one is now in a loss of $1,800. It was up maybe 12, 15K before, but obviously Solana dumped, and this one kind of hit the toilet. But again, that's okay with it. It's a 2025 bull run bag, if that makes sense. The next one is Illuvium. And this one is a disaster play. Again, I'll share with you everything. It's one of my worst gains to date. And it's kind of annoying because when this coin launched in the last bull run, it pretty much did super, super well without a game, right? Now they have a game, and the problem is gaming's not hot, so the coin's not doing very, very hot. So it did well in 2021. That's the reason I decided to buy it, but unfortunately it's not doing that well. And if you look at my profit on this one, it's my biggest loss, and it's down almost $10,000. So that one kind of stings, but if gaming ticks back up, might do well, but I feel like a lot of investor confidence might be gone on that one, so we'll see how it goes. Now, the last one I have is Altara. Again, this is one of my other losses. It's similar to ILV here, but again, my entries were so low, so I'm barely in the loss. I think I'm down $200. But again, this is still a solid gaming coin. Can't predict what it's going to do in the future, but if gaming gets a run, I do believe this will start to do well. So with all that being said, that is my current time recording 922,000 spot position portfolio. And again, don't look at this and get pissed off. If somebody showed me this in 2020 and 2021 when I started investing, this would have motivated me. I know a lot of guys in our group that are, up 3 to 4 to 5 million here, and it would make them sad having this as a portfolio. If you're watching this at home and you have $900, 9,000 bucks, maybe even 50K, that is a lot better than nothing, and that's what you have to understand. If you don't hit the $1 million this bull run, that's fine. Get to 200K, get somewhere in the 6 figures, and learn what you've learned in this bull run to do it again and go for the millionaire status in the next bull run. These bull runs and bear markets are going to be around for a while. I know a lot of people think they're going to stop and just magically disappear, but so far history repeats. So I hope you enjoyed the transparency here, and I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think of some of these coins? And maybe I can do another review. Maybe I might review your portfolio. Let me know in the comments below, and I will go from there, guys. Peace and take care.